Julie Johnson. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Diversity Fellows. Tell me a bit about the program to start off with.
Well, the Diversity and Leadership Fellows program has been in existence for about, I think it's almost 12 years now. And it started out as a scholarship program, really to engage new first-time attendees to conferences, individuals who may not normally get to come to conference. It grew out of some previous work that ASTC had been doing around diversity and inclusion, and really attracting people of color to come, professionals to come to conference. Over the course of its history, it's evolved a little bit, and in the last, I would say 5 years or so, we really expanded the notion of diversity and inclusion. And so it's not just individuals, museum professionals of color, museum professionals with disabilities, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, anyone who might fall under some other kind of category in terms of access and inclusion. So one of the things that was important, though, is that it wasn't just a scholarship to get to conference, that there was actually some kind of professional development associated with it. Since these are first-time attendees, part of the opportunity in the program is to really understand what is the conference for. How do you take advantage of a conference as a professional development opportunity? So we talk about networking. We talk about how you look at and choose sessions. They get chances later on in the conference to come back together and see how it is, how's it going, who they've met. In the formal program, which is Thursday evening and all day Friday, this time we started out with the participants really exploring themselves. So as a museum professional, as a professional working, what is it that I understand my strengths and my weaknesses so that I can actually be a better manager, be a better leader in my institution? What is it about diversity and inclusion that we should be thinking about in our institutions, and how do we take leadership in a way that helps support diversity and inclusion in their respective museums? So we spent a lot of time on Friday in some really structured conversations and activities around that. End the day with them thinking about some of their personal goals for the conference and some of the things that they've learned about themselves and where they might want to see stretch opportunities after the conference. So it really is about supporting people to come to the conference, but in addition, really having some developmental experiences associated with the conference and really understanding how the conference can be used as a professional development opportunity.
Okay, so a lot of the stuff that you mentioned would be valuable to anybody that's coming to the conference, particularly coming to the conference for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So what's different in the case of those kinds of pieces of advice and that kind of training for a diversity group?
I think in this particular case, there's an intent by ASTC to really identify some emerging professionals, and these are individuals that are identified by their institution to apply for this particular scholarship program. So unfortunately, it's not something that everybody can do. There just aren't the resources available for that. And similar, AAM has a scholarship program to get people to conference. I'm not sure that they have the professional development wrapped around it. I would say that there are also conference sessions, however, devoted to that topic that individuals coming to conference can take advantage of. People who are coming to the conference for the first time, there's a first-time attendees reception. Now it's a much smaller thing to help people navigate the conference. But I think in this case, it's really about a focused effort to understand how diversity and inclusion can be manifested in our institutions. How do we talk about it? How do we expand language? How do we engage people around those ideas so that the conversation stays open as opposed to shutting the conversation down? And so maybe we could think of it as similar and akin to other pre-conference workshops where people select and identify that this is something that they want to spend an intensive period on before they, attend some of the other general sessions in the conference.
My impression is walking around the conference, I see women holding hands and stuff. So it's and in my experience with science centers and museums, I get the sense that they're pretty accepting, pretty inclusive. It's not a really difficult environment for diversity. Is that not the case? Or?
I would say individuals have a range of experiences. And even some of the fellows in that we've engaged with can say some have existing institutions that are very accepting of a range of diversity, whether it's cognitive, background, language, disability, sexual orientation, etc. Some institutions have a much higher acceptance rate or feel of acceptance maybe than some others do. So I think there's a range of experiences that people have related to whatever it is that they have identified as something that makes them other in their institution. And I would say yes, there does seem to be a sense at the conference at least that in this kind of setting it's an accepted practice, and people don't necessarily, well, maybe if they have an issue with it, they don't voice it. But by and large, people are feeling comfortable to be themselves in a setting like a conference. And I think that's important.
Thanks very much.
You're very welcome.